head of the Catholic Church, His Holiness Pope Francis.
Dear brothers and sisters, we've taken this journey together. Thank you for coming from various parts of the world and have taken the richness of your religion and cultures. Thank you that you've been living through these days of communication, of efforts, and for the sake of dialogue. Such unprecedented during this time that has been darkened not just by the pandemic, but also by the insanity of the war. Too much hate, division, and too little dialogue and understanding of each other. Contemporary world, it is very dangerous. We will not be able to go further if we will stay bound and divided by the inequality. Therefore, I thank you for the efforts towards peace and unity. I'd like to thank the local authorities that have warmly greeted us and organized this Congress. I thank the nation of Kazakhstan, hospitable, friendly, and honorable, that is able to host other cultures and preserving its own history and valuable traditions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
La mia visita, che voglio ormai alla conclusione, ha come motto
the motto of my visit that is beginning to end, which is the messengers of peace and unity. The motto is being translated into different languages. This is the 7th Congress that we've been lived through with the mercy of God. This Congress is very important. Since the very beginning, in 2003, this event was taking place in the example of prayers of peace in the world in 2002, and the Pope John has organized and into the dialogue and harmony between religions. After what happened in September 11th in 2001, it was necessary to react and to react together in a very unprecedented situation, the terrorism that has heated with violent acts, because of which religion was in danger of becoming the source of conflict. Unfortunately, pseudo-religious extremism, radicalism, terrorism, and nationalism that is being masked with the sacredness. And therefore, in these days, we're able to gather together and show everyone the truth and the meaning of religion. By the way, in the declaration provides that extremism, radicalism, and terrorism, and any other hatred and violence or call for war, any other, no matter their motivation, have nothing to do with the true religious spirit. And they have to be condemned in the strongest of possible terms. They have to be condemned without hesitation. And considering from the fact that the Almighty has created everyone equal, regardless of their religious, ethnic, or social origins, we all agree with the fact that in the religious teachings, the main part is the mutual respect and understanding. Kazakhstan, being in the center of the largest strategic Eurasian continent, has become the place for our meeting. Its flag represents the balance between politics and religion. In reality, the golden eagle on the flag represents the earthly power as a reminder of ancient civilizations and empires, and the blue backdrop reminds us of the free sky and represents transcendentness. There is a harmonic relation between politics and transcendence, peaceful coexistence on two very different fields, difference and not a division. It is all for the sake of human, and just like human, they need free space, not limited by the earthly powers. On the other hand, we do not need to fall onto the earth and to be bounded by the earthly powers, and the love to your neighbors has to be ultimate. And therefore, we say no to the division between politics and transcendentness, because the highest human efforts cannot be eliminated from human lives, and they cannot be connected with the personal sphere, and therefore those who would like to follow their religion must protect themselves everywhere. However many people are being discriminated and persecuted, we appeal to the governments and international organizations with the request of support of religious groups and ethnic societies, those whose human rights and basic freedoms were violated, and those who were victimized from the side of extremists and terrorists. And as a result of war and conflicts, first of all, we have to apply our efforts so that the religious freedom was not just abstract understanding, but a specific right. Let us protect the rights of every single one of them for religion, for hope, beauty, for the sky, because it is not just Kazakhstan, as it says it in their anthem, with the golden sky, with the golden sun in the sky, that every man and woman has their own, is unique. And if they are in connection with God, can see the light, then the Catholic Church, while tirelessly announcing the value of each person that is being created in the image of God, believes in the unity of human family, believes that all of the nations are one society or are of one origin, and that's why they were created on the planet Earth. Therefore, from the very beginning of this Congress, the Holy See, especially through the interreligious dialogue, has been actively participating in it and wishes to participate further. Let the path of interreligious dialogue would be a joint one towards peace. It is very essential. We must not deviate from it. Interreligious dialogue is not just a possibility, it's an urgent service towards humankind. And praise be to the Creator. Brothers and sisters, thinking of this joint journey, I ask myself, what is it that unites us? John Paul II, that is 21 years in this very place, he visited Kazakhstan, said that all of the journeys of the churches lead to the human, and that human is the way of the church. I'd like to announce today that the man is the way of all religions. Yes, the specific person that has lived through pandemic, that has gone through war, The human is a beautiful creation that it can be lost without its creator. And a person cannot survive without the others. Whenever important decisions are being made, we have to look not at just strategic or economic goals, or a national or energy or war interest, but for the sake of human person. For the implementation of grandiose solutions, we have to look at the youth, their future, at the old men and their wisdom, at the ordinary people and their specific needs. We have to unanimously voice that the human personality is not just industry and salaries. The family in Kazakh that is being translated from Kazakh is the place of love. We have to support it in order for our future generation to grow. The mission of all the scholars and philosophers and religious leaders is for coexistence and future prosperity of our for transcendence and fraternity, transcendence, which is unearthly, serving. It is magical that annually millions and millions of men and women of various ages from cultures and social backgrounds unite for prayers. This is the hidden force that drives the world. And then the fraternity, being a proximity to each other. The one who does not love its creations cannot be close to one. This is also prescribed in the Declaration of our Congress. And in the conclusion, I would like to say 3 words. First of all, synthesis of everything that is being symbolized in the outcry and ways of our journey is peace. Peace. And peace is a mission for everyone, because every conflict or hotbed of tension can have a domino effect and seriously harm the international relations. But the world is not just the lack of peace, is not just lack of wars. It cannot be stabilized. You cannot achieve it with despotic tensions. The peace is justice, and his source is fraternity. The peace is achieved not through the fight, but through the fight against injustice and inequality. The peace is created whenever people offer the helping hand to each other. The people must protect peaceful coexistence first and foremost. We must be the witnesses and preach for the peace. Therefore, the declaration provides for the call on the leaders around the world to stop the conflicts and bloodshed and stop the war rhetorics. For the sake of humanity, please take care of peace and not armament. Only by serving peace, our name will be left in history. Your names will be great. The peace is lacking because there is no attention and human warmth and the possibility to give birth. In order to keep peace, we have to pay more attention towards the second word, which is a woman, because it is the woman that takes care of the world and gives birth. She is the key to peace. So we highlight the necessity for protection of rights and social status of women, because she has the same rights in the family and society. The woman has to have more responsibilities, and they have to play a more important role. However many deaths would have been saved if women were in control. So we have to direct our intentions and efforts towards their respect, so they would be in all events. And the third word is youth. They are the messengers of unity and peace. First of all, they are the one who are begging for peace. for the sake of the common home of our planet. They reject the logic of exploitation of the government, of capture of resource, of nationalism, war, and the sphere of influence. All of that is being prescribed to the fragile world. All of these fragile religions also belong to the past and not the future. Thinking of the next generations, we have come to the conclusion that education is important, because of which mutual understanding and respectful coexistence is being reinforced between religions and cultures. We shall give the opportunity for education to the youth, and not just for the armament, and let us listen to them without being afraid of their questions. And most of all, let us create the peace with them in mind. Brothers and sisters, the nation of Kazakhstan is open to the future day and has seen a lot of suffering in the past, thanks to their excellent interreligious and intercultural relations. This example inspires us to build a future without forgetting about the fraternity or transcendentness, without forgetting serving and accepting the others. Let us continue our journey by walking together as creators of hope and creators of harmony, messengers of peace and unity. Thank you. Thank you, Your Holiness, for your warm address towards the Congress and our country. Your support is extremely important for the promotion of ideas of our forum. We wish you long years of life and future fruitful service for the sake of humankind. Dear participants of the Congress, the floor is now given to the Grand Imam of the University of Al-Azhar, His Excellency Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib. In the name of God, the merciful and compassionate, and peace be upon you and blessings of the Allah. In the beginning of my concluding speech, we would like to express once again the gratitude for His Excellency President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, His Excellency Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, and the noble nation of Kazakhstan, and everyone who was involved in the organizations of this excellent and successful forum on such excellent level. It is very difficult to say or add anything after what we have heard, all those decisions and recommendations among this forum that were accepted by its members and participants in the latest version. We have heard several minutes before. We presume that they touch upon a lot of issues from which international community suffers, including rich and poor alike. As a result of silence of the civilized world and his absence in regards to the poor and the victims, and those who form the majority of the nations and peoples, and those who suffer from persecution of tyrants, despots, and those prideful on the earth, and those who ignore the holy justice and heavenly wrath, and the warnings of the messengers that Allah is very slow towards tyrants, but whenever He appears before them, they will immediately have to answer for their crimes. In the conclusion of this Congress, I have to repeat once again that the message of religion will not reach its goal until they are united, until they unite their followers and not become the force that is, first of all, has to act for the cleansing of religious senses from hatred and violence. And this can be achieved with the following. First, to direct the religious activities of various religions towards this humanistic route instead of putting into conflict between confessions and the believers. Secondly, to gather to unite the shared human values among the religions that include the good circumstances and without their differences and their relations with the ones that do not divide them, and translate them with various ways onto various languages. Third, during the dissemination of these shared meanings, we have to focus on the mind and focus on the justice while avoiding the tools that are not there are plenty of hate and illogic. This is the message of Islam and all of the godly religions in regards to them, and the global dialogue between the believers and non-believers. It stems from the fact that the humanity goals, whenever they become the goals and objectives of interreligious goals, they do not contradict to the canon of religion. Moreover, they reflect their true focus. In my experience, believe in the fact that the humanity today, and today we all welcome this initiative despite all our differences between me and my brother of Pope Francis in the religion, in origin, in the language, and the color of our skin, as well as history and our homeland. Despite all of this, despite that the radical intentions from both sides try to hinder it. Moreover, some even consider it taboo to convene a meeting between the head of the Holy See and the Grand Imam of Al-Azhar. But whenever we first met, we had sincere intention. Each of us felt that they know their partner for many years and for a long time. And those hearts were united. We were united with the common friendship. And Allah helped that the code of the human fraternity to be born. This is the document that has become the first code of humanity between the Christians and Muslims and between non-believers in our contemporary world. And this proves the concept that was promoted by Al-Azhar everywhere and every time. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I am one of those who believes that humanity is in dire need of the stages and by the heavenly guidance in the field of holy texts. We hope that the curing of the humanity from its contemporary diseases is, first of all, a lack of a possibility to see the truth. And this is not just the reason of the material progress or growth, but what I believe in is source of spiritual and moral growth, in which religions play an important role. Thank you very much for your attention, and may Allah's blessings be upon you. Thank you very much, Your Reverend Sheikh Ahmed Al-Tayyib, and your active participation and support of the Congress. We thank you for the promotion of ideas of peace and interreligious dialogue. Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, the floor is now given to the Chairman of the Department for External Church Relations of the Moscow Patriarchate, Antonio Volokamsky. Please, the floor is yours. Your Excellencies, highly reverend and highly esteemed Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, Your Holiness, respected religious leaders, dear participants. This Congress is a unique, not just Eurasian region, but for the whole world, a platform for the implementation of realization of interreligious dialogue. Starting with 2003, the sessions of the Congress are being held regularly and gather prominent religious leaders from all over the world. I would like to thank for these important initiatives to all the organizers of the forum, especially personally to the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev. Central topic of this Congress of the leaders of world traditional religions became the strengthening of peace between religions, states, and nations. During our days, this problem is becoming more and more relevant. The God Jesus Christ said that the peacekeepers will be the sons of God. Believers must not outline themselves from those problems that exist in the world, but to take prominent, active participation in understanding and take part in solving the conflicts and helping those who lost. With satisfaction, I would like to note that the final document provides for very important issues. First of all, those are the words of the key role of the spiritual and moral focuses for the stopping of conflicts and preventing of conflicts. The idea of preserving cultures and religious diversity with which nations and religions are united with one values, but at the same time they are preserving their identity. In the post-Soviet territory, where we know the value of this approach, and therefore we support interreligious peace. It's hard to overestimate the necessity of religious enlightenment and education that is used for the prevention of radicalism and extremism. That is the protection from manipulation of religion from the side of evil politics. It is very relevant to overcome inequality and injustice in the context of dissemination of resources between developed countries and so-called third world countries, the issues of energy, food, and economic security. This issue is very acute today. I consider it right to stimulate the cooperation between religious and national and international as well as civil organizations, because today it is very essential for the world to overcome conflicts and stop the fight for the global hegemony. I'd like to point out the positive fact that the declaration of our forum is based on creating the human and all that's created by the God, the God's plan about the world, and all those laws about life and likelihoods. Of big value, those statements that were voiced by the religious leaders of the world. The declarations are being transmitted to the public places, and they will be announced to the majority of people. Quite often, people forget about simple things, such as the humanity have been kept in the books and providing religion to their souls. And it's very essential that the 7th Congress of the Leaders of World Traditional Religions today once again unanimously reminded them of us. I thank the organizers and hosts of the Congress for the correct focuses. People need to hear those words from the prominent religious leaders. I thank every attendee for the dialogue and for the health, for the conveyed and very successful dialogue. I wish you the strength in this very difficult but very important service. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much, Your Eminence, for this informative speech, support of our Congress, and contribution to the promotion of interreligious dialogue. Dear participants of the forum, the floor is now given to the official representatives of the King of Saudi Arabia, Minister of the Islamic Affairs, of Endowment, Abdulatif Abdulaziz Abdurrahman Al-Sheikh. Please.
Bismillahir-Rahmanir-Rahim.
In the name of Allah, the All-Merciful and All-Powerful, blessing be upon Allah, and let Allah bless and welcome everyone, every of the followers until the Judgment Day. Your Excellency, dear President of Republic of Kazakhstan, of the fraternal nation of Kazakhstan, Kassym-Jomart Tokayev, Your Holiness, Pope Francis, Your Honor, Grand Imam of Al-Azhar, dear attendees, Your Excellencies, Your Beatitudes, peace and blessings of Allah be upon you. I call upon you with the welcomes, and allow me to extend the greetings of His Holiness King Abdulaziz Al Saud and the Prince of Mohammed Al Saud. May God protect them. I'd like to congratulate you, Mr. President, with the success of this Congress that contributes significantly to the interreligious and intercivilizational dialogue. We highly respect your personal efforts. May Allah protect you in the promotion of all these ideas that brings countries together. During this forum, we were able to see the large role and responsibility that is being placed upon religious and spiritual leaders in the world, with the fact that they've become sources of inspiration for the dissemination of shared human values such as justice, kindness, love, and coexistence in order to strive towards the bright and prosperous future. The importance of dissemination of these teachings in overcoming extremism and all of those that leads to the discord between people. In my speech at the opening of this Congress, talked about the leading role of Saudi Arabia for the sake of humankind and strengthening the values of justice and tolerance, because the Saudi Arabia is the place where, as Allah said to His prophets, we sent you as a mercy to the peace. And in my statement, I showed the experience of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in the religious activities and combating coronavirus, as well as how Kingdom has contributed into the combating the spread of coronavirus. And Saudi Arabia is a bright example in combating this pandemic. Dear Mr. President, dear attendees, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and represented by the King of Al Saud, with the permanent control of the Prince of Al Saman. They support the international efforts in combating terrorism, extremism, and they contribute
من
into
خلال
the
رسالتها السامية
inter-civilizational dialogue through their high message that is being based on peace and tolerance. We confirm the importance of disseminating the values of respectful coexistence between nations that are being represented in various specters. In conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude to the President for their hospitality and warm welcome, and wish all of you and the fraternal nation of Kazakhstan promotion of dialogue and progress under your wise leadership. Peace be and blessings of Allah be upon you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this informative speech and constant support of Saudi Arabia of our Congress. Dear participants of the forum, the floor is now given to the Chief Ashkenazi Rabbi of Israel, David Lau. Dear Rabbi, the floor is yours.
בשם השם כאל עולם, אני מבקש בראש ובראשונה לפתוח בכבודה של אכסניה המארח אותנו, כבוד נשיא רפובליקת קזחסטן, קסים ג'ומר טוקייב, על הארגון, על הדאגה ועל ההתמדה שאתם מתמידים לקיים את הכנס הזה ולחבר לבבות, לחבר את כולנו, כי משותף רב לנו ואתם מכבדים את העולם כאשר אתם באים להדגיש זאת. תודה לכם מאוד על הארגון, על הפעילות, ושוב, גם על ההתמדה. אנחנו כבר רושמים בפנינו את הכנס השמיני. מכובדיי, בסידור התפילות של העם היהודי ישנה תפילה בקשה שאיתה פותחים בבוקר את התפילה. אנחנו מבקשים שם בקשה מיוחדת מאוד. אנחנו מבקשים אלוקים, עזור לנו, שנראה כל אחד מעלות חברינו ולא חסרונם. כלומר, אנחנו יודעים שגם ישנם חסרונות אצל השני, אבל אנחנו מבקשים מאלוקים שיעזור לנו להסתכל על הטוב אצל השני ולראות את המעלות של השני. ואז מוסיפים דבר חשוב מאוד. ושנדבר כל אחד את חברו בדרך הישר והרצוי לפניך. כלומר, מבקשים מאלוקים עזור לנו לדבר אחד עם השני, וברגע שנדבר, כי אתה אבינו ואב אחד לכולנו, אתה האב שדואג לכולנו, והיות שכך, אתה רוצה שהבנים שלך ידברו אחד עם השני. כמה טוב לראות את זה, שהנה כאן נאספים, וכפי שהזכיר כבוד האפיפיור מכובדי, הזכיר את הביטוי של סמל קזחסטן, שהוא כמו נשר. הנשר מתמסר לבנים שלו, וגם בסידור התפילה אנחנו מזכירים שאלוקים כמו נשר על גוזליו ירחף. והאכפתיות לחבר את כולם תחת כנפיים אחידות של שלום, של אחווה, של רעות, וזו ההדגשה החשובה כל כך של הכנס הזה. אבל אני מבקש לא להסתפק במילים, אלא אני מבקש לפנות אליכם, מנהיגי הדתות מכל רחבי העולם, בכנס החשוב הזה, במושב הנעילה של הכנס. אחריו חוזר כל אחד לביתו, לקהילתו ולקהל מאמיניו. אני מבקש מכם, השמיעו את קולכם. השמיעו את קולכם בכל פעם שיש ולו רמז קל לאנטישמיות במדינות שלכם. יש כלל ביהדות שעבירה גוררת עבירה. כל אירוע שעובר בשתיקה מוליד אחריו אירוע נוסף. ואנחנו יודעים, ואני מבקש ביחד איתכם, אסור שיהודי יפחד ללכת בעולם חופשי עם סממן דתי, כיפה על ראשו בכל רחבי העולם. תפקיד המנהיגים הדתיים ולהתריע בשער על תופעות מסוכנות, על הקצנה אנטישמית שמתפתחת במדינות רבות ברחבי העולם. תגנו, תכתבו, תעירו הערה, תהיו
evil
פעילים
of
במאבק
antisemitism,
אנטישמי,
which is
זה מה שיסייע
rearing its
במניעתו
head in many
ברחבי
countries
העולם.
of the world.
ודבר
Wake up,
נוסף אני
wake
מבקש
others up.
להדגיש.
Fight
יש
against
כלל
antisemitism,
ביהדות
and this
האומר,
will make a dent in
שתיקה
reducing
כהודאה.
antisemitism all over the world.
שתיקה כהודאה זה
In
אומר
Judaism,
שמנהיג
there is
דתי
this
ששותק מול גילוי
concept
אנטישמיות,
that
זה עלול
silence
להיות
means
משתי
assent.
סיבות. זה יכול להיות או שחלילה הוא
If you are
מסכים לה,
silent in the face
או
of
שאולי הוא
antisemitism,
חושב שהיא לא
you can do that
מסוכנת.
only for two
היא
reasons.
מסוכנת.
Either you
כל תופעה,
agree with
כל מקרה,
antisemitism, or you think
ולו
it's
הקטן ביותר.
harmless. But it is not
תפקידנו
harmless. It
כמנהיגי
is
דתות
indeed
הוא לא
harmful.
לשתוק,
Even the smallest
לעצור את שרשרת
deed
העבירות
or word of
האנושיות הללו.
antisemitism. Our
בני
role is
אלוקים
not to
אחד
be
אנחנו,
silent, but our
בני
role is
אנוש
to
כולנו,
break the chain of
וכעם
crimes
אחד,
against
כעולם
humanity.
אחד,
We are all children of
כאכפתים
the same
עבור
God.
העולם.
We all
שבים
came
אנחנו
from Adam
מודים
and Eve.
לנשיא
We're
הרפובליקה
all
של
progeny
קזחסטן,
of Adam and Eve.
שחיבר
We
אותנו,
all can
ועם
influence
המסר
this
הזה
world. And
נשוב
thank you, President
לארצותינו,
Kasim
לבתינו,
Jomart Tokayev,
לקהילותינו,
that you have gathered
ונחזור
us
ונאמר
all
שוב.
here with
אנחנו
your
מבקשים
appeal, and we will come
להדגיש
back to
את
our
ההדגשה
countries, to our
החשובה
communities,
כל
to
כך,
our faithful, and
המהותית
once
כל
again,
כך, התפילה הגדולה
please
שאנחנו
don't
מתפללים
forget,
כולנו,
let this message
השם
sweep your
יברך
mind.
את העולם
This
כולו
prayer that we all
בשלום,
say
שלום
to
ובריאות
God every morning,
ושמחה על כל יושבי תבל.
for God to bless this whole world.
Благодарим вас, уважаемый
Thank you very
Ребе, за
much,
содержательное
Rabbi,
выступление и вклад
for
в
your
развитие
excellent
межрелигиозного
presentation, for your
диалога.
excellent intervention, for your contribution
Құрметті
in building
форумға
the interfaith
қатысушылар мен
dialogue.
меймандар, әлемдік және
Ladies and
дәстүрлі
gentlemen,
діндер
dear
лидерлерінің
participants of the forum,
жетінші
now I would
съезін
like to give
қорытындылау
the
үшін
floor
сөз
to
Қазақстан
President Kasim
Республикасының
Jomart Tokayev
президенті
with his
жоғары
concluding
мәртебелі
remarks
Қасым Жомарт
at the
Кемелұлы
7th
Тоқаевқа
Congress
беріледі.
of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions.
Аса қадірлі меймандар, құрметті съезге қатысушылар, қазақ жері
Cherished
екі
guests,
күннен бері
ladies and
түрлі
gentlemen, the
мәдениеттердің
homeland
сындарлы
of the
сұхбат
Kazakhs
орталығына
has been
айналды.
for 2 days at the
Дүние жүзіндегі
epicenter of a
беделді дін
constructive
басшылар
dialogue.
бір шаңырақтың
Respected
астына
faith
жиналды.
leaders of the
Сіздер
world,
барша
of the
адамзаттың
world have
күш-жігерін
gathered here under one
ортақ
roof.
мүддеге
We
жұмылдыру
have
үшін
traveled from
әлемнің
remote
әр
corners of the
түкпірінен
world to
келіп
unite
отырсыздар.
efforts of all
Осының
mankind
өзі
for common
дінаралық
goals.
келісім мен
This
ынтымақтастықтың
demonstrates the importance
қаншалықты
of interfaith
маңызды
cooperation
екенін
and
көрсетеді.
understanding.
Шын
For the
мәнінде
strengthening
бәріміздің
of
мақсатымыз
peace,
бір.
stability,
Бұл
and
өркениеттер үндестігін орнату
connectivity among
және
different
бейбітшілік
civilizations.
пен тұрақтылықты нығайту. Съезге көптеген
Many
салмақты
nuanced
ой,
and constructive
салиқалы
opinion
пікір
has been put
айтылды.
forth at the
Оның бәрі
Congress.
біздің
I'm
үйлесімді
convinced that all
әлем
of
құру
them
жолындағы
will reflect
іс-әрекетімізге
positively on our
оң
efforts to
ықпалын
achieve
тигізеді
a
деп санаймын.
harmonious world.
Мен алқалы жиынға арнайы
I
келген
am
әлемдік
eternally
деңгейдегі
grateful to all of
рухани
you,
көшбасшыларға
worldwide
зор
paramount
алғыс айтамын.
spiritual leaders
Сондай-ақ
gathered here
біздің
today.
бастамамызға қолдау көрсеткен
Gratitude is
саясаткерлер
equally
мен
due
халықаралық
to
ұйым
political
өкілдеріне
figures and
шынайы
representatives of
ризашылығымды
international
білдіремін.
organizations supporting
Форумды
our
өткізуге
initiative.
белсене атсалысқан
I also
дипломаттарға,
thank
волонтерлерге,
all the diplomats, volunteers,
журналистер мен басқа да
journalists, and all
азаматтарға
those
рахметімді
instrumental for the
айтқым
success
келеді.
of the forum.
Dear Congress participants, our forum has taken place at a unique and highly consequential global moment. It's historic in its own way. As we face an increasingly turbulent geopolitical post-pandemic world, it becomes more crucial to develop new approaches to strengthening inter-civilizational dialogue and trust at the global level. I believe today's forum has made a significant contribution to this vital ongoing work. On behalf of the people of Kazakhstan, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to His Holiness Pope Francis for his historic visit to our country and participation in the work of the Congress. We are confident that your passionate voice and strong message will be a source of inspiration and hope for many millions around the world. Осы орайда аса қадірлі Рим папасы Франциске елімізге тарихи сапармен келгені үшін Қазақстан халқының және жеке өз атымнан тағы да шынайы алғыс білдіремін. Съезд жұмысына өзіңіздің
for his historic visit to Kazakhstan.
Біз үшін зор мәртебе. Сіздің әлем жұртшылығына арнаған үндеуіңіз
And your presence here
жүзіндегі
and active
миллиондаған
participation
адамға
in
үміт
the
пен сенім
activities
сыйлағаны
of
анық.
our Congress has
The
been a
participants
true
of the
blessing.
Congress have shared their perspectives, offered valuable ideas, and generated insightful proposals on many pressing issues. Most importantly, they have focused their thoughts on peace and cooperation between faiths and peoples. We have collectively condemned both power politics and hate speech, which contribute to the mutual alienation of nations, the erosion of states, and the degradation of international relations. Today, as never before, it's vital to put to good use the peacemaking potential of religions, to unite the efforts of spiritual authorities in search of long-term stability. All faiths are based on humanistic ideals, recognition of the supreme value of human life, and the aspiration for peace and creation. These fundamental principles must be reflected not only in the spiritual area, but also in the socio-economic development of states and international politics. One of the most important topics was how to overcome inequalities of all kinds, since they are a source of national upheavals and global crisis. Special emphasis was placed on digital and gender issues, on the importance of education, and on the role of religion in eliminating social divides. Another fundamental objective was the search for ways to strike a balance between economic growth and spiritual and moral progress. I am convinced that religious leaders can and must insist on simultaneous and complementary spiritual and technological development. Dear participants, as we conclude our work together here, I am convinced that spiritual leaders can and will help in overcoming the contradictions of the modern world and in achieving greater well-being for all humanity. A meaningful and highly detailed declaration has been adopted at the conclusion of this Congress. This important document covers fundamental issues and can serve as a guide for governments, political leaders, and international organizations. Our joint task is to consistently promote the concepts and principles of the Declaration. I also believe it is necessary to prepare a concept document for the development of the Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions for the years 2023-2033. This concept document should include concrete steps and stages in further strengthening the influence of our forum. In line with its domestic and foreign policy priorities, Kazakhstan will fully support the consistent activities of the Congress. Our aim remains to promote an open dialogue among civilizations and to strengthen peace and stability. Once again, my sincere gratitude to all of you, and let's work together for the sake of peace, tolerance, and cooperation. I wish everyone well-being and peaceful life.
Құрметті Қасым-Жомарт Кемелұлы, съезге қатысып, мазмұнды
Mr.
баяндама
President,
жасап, бейбітшілік, келісім
President
және
Tokayev,
диалог идеяларын
we
дәріптеуге
thank you.
үлкен үлес
We
қосқаныңыз үшін барша
extend you
қатысушылардың
our
атынан
most
сізге
sincere
шынайы
gratitude
алғыс
for your
білдіруге
participation
рұқсат
in
етіңіз.
this forum and for your meaningful interventions at this forum in promoting the
Уважаемые
ideas of peace
участники и
and
гости
dialogue.
форума, Выражаю искреннюю
Ladies and
признательность
gentlemen,
главам делегаций
cherished
всем
guests, I
участникам
would like to
съезда
thank
за
all the heads
поддержку
of
нашего
delegations
форума
of
и
the
большой
Congress
вклад в
for your
укрепление
valuable
диалога
support
между религиями,
and
культурами
contribution
и
towards
народами.
strengthening
От
dialogue
имени
between
секретариата съезда
peoples,
хотел
nations,
бы еще
and
раз отметить
religions.
твердое
On behalf of the
намерение и
Secretariat of the
готовность
Congress, I
активно
also would like
продвигать
to once
идеи
again
и
emphasize
принципы,
our readiness
изложенные
to
в
promote the
декларации.
ideas and the
Этот
principles
документ будет
set forth
распространен
in the
в качестве
declaration. This
официального
declaration will be
документа
disseminated as an
77-й
official
сессии
document at the
Генеральной
77th
Ассамблеи
session
ООН.
of the UN
Секретариат
General
также
Assembly.
приступит
The
к разработке
Secretariat also will
концепции
start
развития съезда
development of the
лидеров мировых и
concept of
традиционных
which President
религий
Tokayev has
как
talked about,
универсальной,
development of the
глобальной,
Congress of
межрелигиозной
Leaders of World
диалоговой
and Traditional
площадке
Religions as
на
a unique
2023-2033
dialogue platform for
годы. В этот документ
2023-2033.
войдут ваши
This
идеи,
document will also
предложения,
feature
итоги
your ideas and
дискуссий,
proposals,
состоявшихся на съезде.
also feature the conclusions of the discussions that have taken place this time at the Congress.
Қасым-Жомарт Кемелұлы, аса қасиетті Рим папасы Франциск, жоғары
President Tokayev,
мәртебелілер. Сіздердің
Your Holiness Pope
ынта-жігерлеріңіздің
Francis,
арқасында әлемде диалогқа,
Most Reverend Fathers,
ашықтыққа, өзара
I
түсіністік пен
hope that
бейбіт
because
өмірге
of
деген
your
ұмтылыс
goodwill in the
нығая
world
түседі
now,
деп
there will
сенеміз.
be greater
Форумның барлық қатысушылары мен
yearning
қонақтарына
for peace
тағы да
and
зор
solidarity.
алғысымызды
Once again, I would like to thank all the participants and guests of the forum. And on this note, I would like to officially conclude the deliberations of the 7th Congress of Leaders of World and Traditional Religions. Thank you for gracing us with your presence once again, and have a safe trip.
Қазақ елінде қайта кездескенше аман болыңыздар.
Until our new meetings on Kazakh land.